Good afternoon, everyone. It's Chris Sanders here again with the Urban Spokesman. Yes, today I want to talk about the pedestrian health crisis going on. That is because pedestrians are being injured and killed on New York City streets at increasingly alarming rates. So we have this Streets blog article here, and so it says, the city's in the midst of a pedestrian death and injury spike with 55 pedestrians killed between January 1st and June 17th. This is the second highest number through this point of the year since 2016, according to the Department of Transportation. So 55 pedestrian fatalities. Overall, that's more than motor vehicle occupants. Pedestrians always, if I'm looking at these numbers, every year pedestrians are always the most likely to get hurt in a crash, and that's because there's just so many more of them. And to be honest, people are driving super aggressive this year. They've been doing that for the last few years, but I mean, this year is even more noticeably worse. So fatalities only tell one part of the story. According to NYPD, pedestrian injuries are up 3.6% so far this year, with 4,036 pedestrians injured through June 16th, or an average of 24 pedestrians injured every single day in the city. That's up from 3,895 injured during the same period last year. You see the graph there. 2024 is in this orange color, 2023 slightly less in this less orange color. So far this year, Brooklyn is the epicenter of the crisis, with 1,411 pedestrians, or 35% of the total, injured so far this year. Queens is next with 1,105 pedestrian injuries, or 27%. I don't know why you're listing this, but some anti-bike groups blame it on cyclists, e-bikes, and moped riders, but the statistics don't show that. Like, people love to make claims and they don't got anything to back it up. Like, when you hear me make a claim, almost always I have something to back it up, even if I didn't tell you that I have something to back it up. It didn't just come out of nowhere. So basically, between January 1st and June 14th, the police identified the vehicle that injured 3,479 people, with 273 pedestrians, or 7.8%, injured by the rider of a bike, moped, or scooter, or bike over the same period, 2023. Police identified vehicles involved in crashes that injured 3,359 pedestrians, 261 people, or 7.7%, were injured by the rider of a bike, moped, or scooter, or e-bike. In other words, in both years, 92% of all pedestrian injuries happened because people were driving too aggressively. They were not obeying the law. Pedestrians should not be hit while walking. They shouldn't be hit by us standing there. I don't care if they're breaking the law. They shouldn't be hit. I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know what you think. Maybe I'm wrong. Look, I'm happy to be wrong. And I'm happy to be right as well. Look, I mean, this isn't cute. And then we come back to the fact that congestion pricing would have lowered the number of cars on New York City streets. Kathy Hochul canceled congestion pricing that would have lowered the number of cars on New York City streets and would have likely saved a lot of pedestrians' lives. It would have improved the air quality. Right now, we have an air quality alert because the AQI is over 100. It's like 115 right now, as of like about 6 o'clock. So there you go. And it, to be quite honest, look, the state is not going to do anything about it. Kathy Hochul is like removing parking fees, cutting gas taxes, um, and blocking congestion pricing. She is trying to pause congestion pricing. Hopefully it will still go through. I think the MTA should still do it, and I think the New York Department of Transportation should still do it. And look, Joe Biden's Department of Transportation, Federal Highway Administration approved of congestion pricing. They said it would have even more of a positive impact on New York City than they originally thought. And they issued their approval despite Kathy Hochul's pause on congestion pricing. So they did their own analysis and studying, and they were like, they're undercounting the benefit. And they issued their approval. So if Kathy Hochul still wants to reverse it, look, I understand the polling is one thing right now, but the bottom line is if you have not improved people's quality of life, they're going to punish you for it at the polls. And Kathy Hochul is not as talented of a politician as Hillary Clinton, Governor Cuomo. She's not as talented. Like, look, for all Hillary's flaws, Kathy Hochul's got more flaws, So, look. I mean, what are you gonna? I mean, I'll go out now that I'm back in New York City. I will go and protest whatever I got to do, send letters, all that. I'll call the elected officials again. But this is really unacceptable. Let me know what you think, and what else can be done to put pressure on Kathy Hochul to reverse course, because God, I want her to be successful. Look, I want all my elected officials to be successful in the long run. I'm not thinking about next year or next week. I'm thinking about 20 years down the line. Like, I'm thinking about like the long term. I'm not thinking about, scoring a political win so we can circle jerk each other. Like, no, it's not for nothing. This is really sad to see. Look, when I was overseas in Nice and Cannes and Monaco and London and Amsterdam, I didn't even think for a second that I was ever gonna be hit by a car or bicycle or anything. I didn't even have to worry about it. I didn't have to think about it. I come back to New York, and I've barely been here a day, and already I see some cab driver on the street hitting somebody with their cab, and then complaining that it was their fault because the delivery cyclist was riding the bike too fast. That was what he was saying to the women who stopped him in his tracks to tell him that he needed to wait for the police before he got there. I took a picture of his license plate number. So if you guys want to, I've got that picture. But I mean, it's and the delivery cyclist, he just wanted to keep going, but the women were not about to, and they were going after the cab driver. I was like, well, they're right, and if I get involved, look, they're handling it. I'll let the women handle it. They look like they can do. They look like they can take care of themselves. These are New York women, and So the pedestrian injury and death crisis is going on, and the traffic is out of control. The government is out of control. Kathy Hochul's out of control. She's currently flirting. She's out of compliance with the law. That's why. What's his name? Brad Lander is looking into a lawsuit to force Kathy Hochul into compliance with the law. We need our governor in compliance with the law, and to implement the congestion pricing that we need. so that way we can lower traffic and we can raise funds to finance the MTA in perpetuity, rather than all these like one-off measures every time they gotta scrape together money from the federal government, from the state government. No, we need a continuous funding source, and that should come from paying for what you use. That's what congestion pricing is, paying for what you use. In any case, pedestrian injury and death going on. You know, it's the worst year on record in recent times, and yeah, congestion pricing was gonna curtail some of that in the second half of the year, but now it won't, because it is currently not scheduled to be implemented. Hopefully they figure it out before June 30th, so the congestion pricing can be started on June 30th. All right, let's make it a great day.